doing? Today we're going to be talking about Subsonic 223. This is the finished product as we're going to produce. You've heard of green tips. These are pink tips. Basically what I did was I stole some of my wife's nail polish to indicate that these are subsonic rounds. Right now I'm using Trailboss for my 38 special. It's a great powder, very fluffy, and we'll take a look at that in a few minutes when we get down to it. But the recipe itself comes right off of their website. It's using the 55 grain Hornady full metal jacket, and we're going to be loading to an overall length of 2.2 inches with 4 grains of Trailboss, and that gives us a subsonic velocity of 1,074 feet per second, which is lower than the supersonic range. We're going to be using some of this Range Max once fired brass. This is stuff that I got at Bass Pro. It's been sized, cleaned. I've checked it with my case gauge. It's really good stuff. We're going to be using the small rifle load primers from Winchester. We're going to be using a trickler, and let's take a look at the powder itself, because I'm telling you, this stuff is like little teeny donuts. And let me zoom in a little bit more. You can see it in there, and as far as the bullets themselves, we're going to be using the 55 grain full metal jacket boat tails. Those are the easiest ones I've found to get into the 223 cases. And I'll show you how I loaded up the first 5, and then we'll load up some of the others. We're going to be using the Lee primer, hand primer, and that just makes it a lot easier. And then the press that we're going to be using is the turret press from Lee, and this is pretty nice because you can pretty much really set it for 2 configurations. All right, let's put on some goggles wherever I can find them. Where the fuck are those goggles? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some brass out here. Get some brass out, and what I want to do is I want to check this. What I like to do is I like to check to see whether the brass itself fits nicely. So I'm using one of these Wilson case gauges for 223 Remington, and it should fit in there nicely. And then you can check your overall trim length. If it's not correct, you can use one of the hand trimmers to get it going. So we'll go ahead and start with that. That looks okay. This is almost looks like one of those LC cases. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me load up one of these. There you go. Load up the Lee hand press. Got my goggles on, and press that bad boy in there. Got it. So now we got a nice primer in there, nice seated very nicely. Kitty, can you keep it down a little bit? Okay, I'm going to put it in my press. Make sure I'll get it down in position. Looks good. So go ahead and hand prime the rest of these. Like that. Let's do this real quick. Good. Oh, it has a primer earlier. Okay. Cool. All right. So we got those primed up. Check each one in the case gauge. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Actually, really nice there. Very nice. Okay, so we got that. Leave our case gauge there. Next thing what we want to do is we want to put some powder in. As I mentioned before, we're going to use 4 grains of Trailboss. So what I have is my handy dandy little little scooper that allows me to dump it directly into the cases. Let me scoot some of this stuff out of the way. Let's scoot the bullets out. Case gauge, there we go. All right. So let me go ahead and get a tare weight. Turn on my little scale, give a tare weight with the little container. What I use is I use a scoop here that kind of gets me in the ballpark. So I'm going to take a little scoop of the Trailboss and I'm going to dump it in here. Okay. And then that gives me 3.4 grains, I can see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trickle the remaining Trailboss until I get to 4 grains of Trailboss. 3.9, 4 grains. There we go. Nice. So take a look at that. 4 grains of Trailboss. 4 grains. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my primed cases, and then I'll be able to go ahead and put this in here. Okay, tap it in there. It's 1. Point 3.3. Grains. The second one. Get in there. I'll see this up for the camera. All right, so we got all of our cases loaded now. Okay, the best thing to do before you start seeing bullets is to make sure you've got powder in each one. So I'm carefully looking at the levels in each of these. They look about the same. It's hard to see in a 223 case, but they all do have 4 grains of Trailboss. Okay, so let's go ahead and now seat the bullets. So let me go ahead and rotate my bullet seater. I'm going to take one of my bullets here. Take and put the case here. Put the bullet up here. Now I've got this sort of set up okay. I got it backed out a little bit because then I can adjust it down. Okay, so now the bullet goes in. So now I've got a bullet seated, and you can see it just barely touching the cantilever there on the edge. So let me take my calipers and check the overall length. The overall length is 2.30, so I need to go down just a little bit, so I'm going to tweak it down. 2.30. Check the length again. 2.2. Another little tweak. 2.21, just another little tweak again. Get my overall length perfect. That's what I want. 2.208. Just a hair down, and then I think we got it. .206. Another little hair, huh? .02. Woo, I'm getting close. That's good. Okay, now we got it. 2.20 or 2.199, and then it's there. It is. It's almost there. All right, we got it. I think we got it. It's as close as it's going to get. Okay, so we got that one, so we can go ahead and seat the other bullets, hopefully to the same level. Let's go ahead and seat the rest of them. See how we are. There we go. Now we're in the ballparks. Bella, come on. What are you doing over there, girl? Perfect. Okay. I can definitely hear the powder inside there. Okay, so now we got the five rounds done. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to do our crimping. I always like to do a light crimp, even though these bullets might have a cantilever on them. I want to make sure that I'm holding these good. So what I like to do is I sort of like to back it out a little bit and then sort of get a feel. There's no real way to really know exactly. It's more of a feel thing. Give it a little bit of a twist and then take a look. See if I can start to see a little mark on there. A little mark, probably a little bit more. Just a little bit of a pinch. Just a little more. There you go. I can feel it now. And puts a little mark on there. There we go. Just enough to hold it in there. Don't have to be super tight crimp. There we go. Just crimps it down just a little bit. Okay, so I like to shake each one to make sure that there's powder in there. One last time. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now let me run each through the Wilson case gauge to make sure I'm still good. Set this in there nice. Yes. So that assures that I'm going to be able to at least chamber. Okay. Should just slide right in without any issue. Okay, so we got that. Now, and then the final thing that I do, I'm going to take a little bit of this nail polish And you can make a nice little green tip thing. Just sort of shove the bullet right into the end there. Give it a twist. And I'll line them up back here. Make my own little pink tips. All right. And that's it, folks. This is the finished round. Those other ones got to dry, but be anxious to see how these perform, because I have some. I have a suppressor for my AR-15 on order. I don't know when that's going to come in, but I want to make sure that these are functioning really nice and see what kind of groups I get without the suppressor. I understand these are probably maybe about 1/3 of the velocity of a standard AR round, maybe a little more. But we're going to find out, see what kind of groups we get. All right, hopefully that helped you out, and until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.